Today we are going to have another look at averages taken from frequency tables. So you should be able to answer a question such as this, which is just your standard frequency table. So Robbie played 20 football matches for his school team. The number of goals scored in each game are shown in the table. So in 3 of the matches he scored 0 goals. In 5 of the matches he scored 1 goal. In 9 of the matches he scored 2. In 1 of the matches he scored 3, and in 2 matches he scored 4. And you need to be able to calculate certain statistics from this. And this should be something that you did last year. Now, we're going to recap this, and then we're going to move on to talk about group frequency tables. What I would highlight for this is that people, when they are trying to calculate these averages, seem to get very much mixed up in the maths and just forget about what this table is represented. They kind of get stuck in a method and they try and apply it, and they apply it wrong, but they just forget what this is all about. So just imagine, just for the sake to begin with, that we had all this information written out in a long list. So in 3 of the matches we had 0 goals. So if I had that written out fully, it would look something like that. In 5 of the matches there was 1 goal, so it would be recorded something like that. 9 of the matches there were 2 goals, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was 1 match with 3 goals and 2 matches with 4 goals. So that is what this data is representing. It's just a lot neater in the table, and we can do any calculations we need to. So it's important to remember that that's what it would look like if we wrote it out fully. So when we're getting the mode, the median, the range and the mean, it's obviously a lot easier perhaps to do it from this, but we have to be able to do it from the table, because the likelihood is they're not going to give you such easy numbers. You might have much larger numbers to deal with and you couldn't physically write them out fully. So the mode is fairly easy. So we look down here and we identify, okay, which is the highest frequency, and we see that it's 9. And the first issue that people have is they go, oh, the mode is 9 because it's the biggest number that's on there. And we go, no, in no matches did he score 9 goals. The mode here would be 2. And that makes sense when you look at this data over here. We can see that the 0 is the most common value. So this is why it's important to think about what this table is representing, because I have seen quite a few times that people put 9 as a value and say, yeah, that's the right number to identify. However, it's not the 9 we need. It's the fact in 9 matches he scored 2 goals. Okay, the median. So the median is the middle value. Now, even trying to work from the data on the right, that would be a bit tricky or fiddly to find, should I say. So we need to find out which value we are talking about. Now, for when we've got smaller numbers, so for example, say I was looking for something like this, 2, 3, 4. That's nice and easy. The median is easy to identify. It's 3. It is in particular the second value. That's the bit I'm interested in this time, just so we can get some understanding. If I had, for example, 7 values, so I've got 7 values here, and again, without too much issue, I would find that the median value is here, and that is the 4th value. Okay, now, so let's just think. If I've got 3 items, it was the second value. For 7 items, it was the 4th. And there's 8 items, and it would be halfway between 7 and 8, because those are the 2 values. So it would be, if you like, it's halfway between the 4th and the 5th values. I'm going to say, call that the 4.5th value, which sounds a bit strange, but hopefully you get what that means. Well, if I want to know which value is the median, I'm going to use this formula. So it's n, the amount of items, plus 1 and divided by 2. So it's that value. Okay, so if there's 5 values, I put that in. 5 add 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3, so it's the third value. If I add 121 items, add 122, halve it, 61, so it'll be the 61st value when they're all in order. So this is a really useful formula to have, and we're going to use it. So it's n plus 1 over 2 value, which is a horrible way of saying it, but that's just what it is. All right, so for this question in here, we have got 20 matches. So 20 plus 1 over 2 equals 21 over 2, which is, we're looking for the 10.5th value. Right, so the first 3 values are in here. That's values 1, 2, and 3. Then it's the next 5, so that's the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th values. In 2, we would have therefore the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. I can actually stop now because the 10.5th value would be between the 10th and the 11th, and they are both in this here. So it would again be 2. The range, okay, again, remember, it's the biggest, take the smallest, but it's not just the biggest value in that table, take the smallest value. It's not 9, take 0, right? It's also not, for example, 2, take 3. Well, the maximum, so you remember, it's the maximum number that anyone scored, or maximum number he scored, which is 4, take the minimum number he scored, which is 0, so the range of values is 4. And the last value we need to be able to work out is the mean. So to find the mean, we add them all up and divide by how many there are. You know how to work out the mean. From a table, obviously, it's not quite so quick to do, but you need to think, all right, so this is if I had this table. So let's just think, what would these 3 values be added up? Well, that would be 0. What would these 5 values added up be? But that would be 5. These added up would be 18. Now, we are not going to be doing things from this list of data. That's not what I want you to do. All right, I'm just using it there for an example so we can get on to how to speed up our methods. So let's just think about how I could get these values here instead. Well, 3 lots of times we had 0 goals. So 3 times 0 gave us the 0. 5 matches, they scored 1 goal. So in total, the amount of goals there, 5 times 1 is 5. In 9 matches, he scored 2 goals. So in total, across those 9 matches, he scored 18. So 9 times 2 is 18. So here, we basically do the goals times, I'm going to put number of matches. I'm going to, for the time being, put frequency, because that's normally the word that's used. That's just how many times it happened. Goals times frequency. So here, without much effort, 3 and 8. Now, I can work out how many goals there were in total by totaling this up. 8, 26, 34. So 34 goals in total across the 20 matches equals 1.7 by my reckoning. And that would be the mean. And then I'm just going to check on looking at that table. Yeah, that makes sense. We've got obviously a lot around 2, so it'd be around 2, but I've got more values kind of closer to 0 and 1 than I do 3 and 4, so it's probably going to be a little bit less than 2, so my value makes sense. Always important to find ways of checking our answers. So I found the mode as a reminder. That's like the highest frequency. The median, so I just find whereabouts in this set of data the n plus 1 over 2 value is. that basically is just where is the middle value. If you need to find another way to do that, that's okay, but it's going to make your life easier if you can get used to that idea. So where is the middle value? And we found that was also in 2. The range, so don't forget the range is not an average, it's a measure of spread. So it was the largest number of goals he scored, take away the smallest. And then the mean, we have to go through this extra column, and we do 0 times 3 equals 0, 1 times 5 equals 5, 2 times 9 equals 18, and so on and so forth. Right, if you could all have a go at answering getting the same averages for this table, that'd be great. So pause the video and have a go, and then I'll run through the answers. You'll notice that there's not an extra column here that's been given. Now, they don't always do that in exams. They don't always give that to you. So sometimes you're going to just have to draw that in yourself. So that might be your first step. All right, give that a go. Pause the video, give that a go, and see if you can work out these 5 statistics from this work. Okay, so hopefully you've now completed that, and we're going to go through this. So the mode. Well, the highest frequency is 9, and so this is the mode, 25. Again, I'm thinking about if I had all this written out, I'd have 23 written once, I'd have 24 written 4 times, I'd have 25 written 9 times, so it's clearly the mode. The median, okay, there are 20 bags. So I need to find the, so it's 20 add 1 over 2. I need to find that value. Okay, which the 21 over 2 is 10.5. So I need to find the 10.5 value. So I need to find where the 10th value is and the 11th value is. So values, that's value 1. That's going to be values 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then values 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the 10th and 11th values are both in here. So again, the median is 25. It's not always going to be the same as the mode, so don't get lulled into that false sense of security. The range, okay, well, the most number of sweets in any bags was 27. The minimum number of bags, number of sweets in any bag was 23, so the range is 4, oddly enough the same as the last question. And finally the mean. So I need this final column, so I'm going to do the number of, that's number of sweets times the frequency. Right. So 1 times 23 is 23. 4 times 24 is 96. And there's the rest filled in. So let's add them all together to find out the total number of sweets he had across all 20 bags, which is 503. So the mean, the total he had, or I don't know what I'm saying here, total number of sweets across 20 bags, so divided by how many there were, and we should get 25.15. I know sometimes it's tempting to round these values, but please do not. Okay, unless the question obviously tells you to, do not change that to 25. You are going to want to use the decimal. Sometimes if you need to, give it to like 1 or 2 decimal places, but this is a nice round number. I was going to move on to group frequency tables in this lesson, but you know what? I think it might be worth us practicing this. So if you can just go on to the set tasks, that would be great.